Brian has a question about changing the aspect ratio from portrait mode to widescreen or widescreen to portrait mode. And when he's done the one, going from portrait to widescreen, he observed that, yeah, the picture changed. However, it was still in the portrait mode. So let's talk about that. Changing the aspect ratio of a video. In this case, we have a landscape or widescreen mode to a portrait mode, or vice versa. You actually are changing two things. You're actually changing the canvas on which the image is displayed, but you also need to change the image. So in this case, this is a widescreen landscape. And let's look at the second picture. The second video clip here is a portrait, and it's still a portrait. It's not occupying the entire canvas because we have these black bars on either side. If we were to crop this picture with the cropping tool, we could see exactly, okay, it would be helpful if I select the picture. We select the cropping tool and we change it from portrait to widescreen. We can see that this is what we're going to get. We're only going to get this portion of the picture. The rest of it is going to be cropped. That's what cropping is. But in doing so, we have now matched the canvas. We basically just zoomed in. And as a result, our image is probably a little bit blurry, very blurry. So not very satisfactory, but there are times when you need to do that. In this example, let's set the aspect ratio to portrait mode, 9:16. And when we take a landscape video and we drop it on the timeline, and let's keep the project settings, we're going to get the black bars on the top and the bottom. If we want to fill it in, again using the cropping tool, and we change it to 9:16, we can see that it's going to crop off the sides of the picture. Now we can move this around if we want to feature something over here, or we want to feature something over here, or maybe we want to track the person. There is ways to do this. But the point is, it's two things. You're changing the size of the canvas and you're changing the size of the picture, or video in this case. And you can see it now fills everything. So when you're changing it, you need to be aware that you need to change the canvas as well as the media. I'm going to go back to the widescreen mode. We could change the project settings up here, or we could just drop a picture down there and say match the media. Now this is a widescreen mode, and now we have changed. If we use that option to change how the picture fills the canvas, we actually change the project settings to match. Now granted, this is a custom setting. Perhaps we just want to do widescreen and select the 4K. There are a couple of different ways that we can accomplish this in one operation. Let's say, for example, that we take our portrait video clip here and we're going to drop it down onto the timeline, and that's going to give us that unsatisfactory look. We're going to keep the project settings, and we're going to have our wide bars here. The video does not fit the landscape. We can do that by manually just doing this way, crop to fit. It's going to take that picture and stretch it out for us and cut off. And if we didn't show what we needed, we could manually move it around and say this is the part we wanted to see. Okay, so we understand that if we want to change the aspect ratio of the video, we have to both change the canvas and also the individual media clips that are on the canvas if we want them to completely fill the canvas. So what's another way we can do this? Another way we can do it is to take a clip and auto reframe it. In other words, we right click on it and we select auto reframe. That brings up another application here, which is the auto reframer. And we're going to select a portrait mode. Okay, it already selects portrait mode by default, but we have a landscape mode, widescreen aspect ratio, and we're going to analyze it and generate a portrait mode. We can see that it auto reframed it for us, and it's keeping the person in the center of the frame. So now if we add this to the timeline, we get our saying here, what do we want to do? Match the media. In this case, we're creating a portrait video. Our project settings are set to landscape, but we really want it to be portrait. So we have reframed the video clip, and we're now going to change the project settings to match the media. And we can see that it's processing down here. And when we're done, we now have it here. And this video clip is very nicely done because it kept the person in the frame the whole time. And that's great. It works when there is a person in the frame. It doesn't work very well, however, if we're just tracking an object. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to change our project setting back to widescreen because I'm trying to demonstrate how you do change the canvas and the video in the same time. And this is an example where it doesn't work. In this case, we don't have a person in the video clip. Let me right click on it, and I'm going to choose the auto reframe option. And here's the video clip. And by the way, you can do more than one video clip at a time simply by importing them. I don't know how many you can. But we're going to transform this from a landscape mode to a portrait mode, from 16 by 9 to 9 by 16. And what we would like to have is the car plus the road in focus the whole time, or it's going to be in focus, but in frame. And what we're going to find out is that it doesn't. What we see while it's playing back is that the car is not in the frame. Sometimes the road's not even in the frame. It's trying to focus on something. I think it's trying to focus on the road, but it doesn't even do a good job of that because at times it gets off of the road altogether. My point is simply that if you're going to use this automatic feature, it's great for when you have a person in the picture, not so great when you just have objects. That being said, we could adjust the frame. Unfortunately, it's not very good. Like here, for example, it would be great if the frame was over here. And just by moving it, you can see that a keyframe was created. But right away, we can see that this is off kilter again, and this is really where we would want to have the frame. So you could go through here in this particular video and constantly adjust something, and you're probably going to get something that's not very satisfactory. Here we have neither the road nor the car in the frame. All right, I'm not going to bother doing this whole thing. Just going to do a few here so we can see it. And let's just play it back. We're kind of keeping the car in the frame. It's trying to do that. It would be great if we could click on an object pretty much like motion tracking we can with other videos. This auto reframe is great for people, but it really needs to let you select something you want to focus on if you don't have people in the video. Okay, again, we're going to go ahead and add it to the timeline. It's going to pop up the question, match the media or match the project settings. We want to do 2-in-1. We have framed, as best as we could, the video clip. And if we say match media, we are now going to change the second thing, which is the canvas. And you can see that we did it here. Now it's processing, and it will adjust once it's done processing. And we can see we now have it. Unfortunately, as we can see here, there's only a little bit of the car. You know, I mean, again, because it doesn't have anything to focus on, it probably will not frame for you properly. However, if you're using something like a person, and again, here's an intermediate clip. We'll give it one last try. We will auto reframe this clip. And this will work partially because the person is in view some of the time, but other times it will be off track because there's trees between the person taking the video and the skier. So let's just analyze that and we can see how that works. Okay, here's a tree and it's following the tree, and now the skier's back. There will be several instances in this clip where the skier goes behind some trees and tracking will be lost. In general, when they can see the person, no problem. It lost tracking going behind those when the skier went behind those trees. And here's some more trees. It stayed with it that time. But you see, it lost tracking there. It didn't follow it because it didn't see where the skier was in the terrain. I think we'll see a couple more here before the clip is over that it didn't follow the skier all the time. Now, in a situation like this, yes, you probably could go back and adjust the frame. Just like right there, it's totally off. The skier is way off the frame. Once the skier comes back, it picks up the framing. So for a clip like that, yeah, you could say, oh, okay, I really wanted this to be over here, you know, so it isn't bouncing around. Now we look at these, we can see the skier is here, but our frame is over here. So if we move it over, it will be reframed. But will it be for the whole thing? No, because it's focused on something else. But then let's just play it like that. Okay, let's add it to our timeline, and let's keep the project settings. Okay, that one reframed, and you know, it worked kind of okay. So if you want to be able to use or adjust both the canvas and the media at the same time, use the auto reframe if you have a person in there. If you don't have a person in there, you may have to adjust the frames throughout the video clip. You have the automatic mode of bringing something down. That is, let's bring this one down again, and we're going to keep the project settings. It's not very satisfactory. We can right click on it and we can say crop to fit. And if it works for us, this one works better to not auto reframe because it's mostly in, the vehicle is mostly in focus in the frame, but we can manually reframe this also. However, when we do this, it's probably going to stick to that side of the screen all the time. It's not following it. So that's the difference between manually doing it and automatically, using the auto reframe. Now keep in mind that you probably, yes, you could probably, I was going to say you could probably keyframe this, but maybe you can't. So I'm not going to say that. Anyway, that's how you change the canvas and the media to make it fill the entire frame.